Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. And today I'm bringing to you my bookish TBR for the year of 2023. This year I've decided to create a top 5 and then I have like a bunch of honorable mentions that I would love to get to, but that are not like as high of a priority as the top 5. As last year, this is just a guide for me, really. This is not something super serious. Like, there's gonna be no punishment or no bad feelings if I don't read those books. Even if I don't read a single one of them, I'm gonna be fine with that because I don't want to pressure myself into reading something that I don't enjoy or that I'm not in the mood for. Like, I'm not getting paid to read. This is not my job. I read for my enjoyment and for my growth and to grow as a person and to escape the world and to learn more about the world and all these kind of things. So I read for joy and not for, reaching certain goals or whatever. So this is just a guide. These are the books that, as of right now, beginning of 2023, I'm like the most excited about and can't wait to get into. And also something fun to look back on in a year from now to see if I've actually read them or how my opinions have changed. Let's get into the top 5. On the top of the list, there is a nonfiction book called Love and Rage. I haven't heard anyone talk about this book, so I'm very interested to see if it's any good. I'm a bit scared. Because those types of books can go either way. But I do find that, especially with the whole self-help, more positivity movement, that anger is like the emotion that is always left out of the picture. And like even when we talk about boundary setting, anger is never something that is discussed. And I do find the topic so fascinating, and I really am interested to see what this book has to offer. Next book is a fantasy book called We Ride the Storm. You might have seen this in my 5-star prediction video, which is why it is on the top of my TBR. I didn't put all of them into the top of the TBR, but they are definitely still included in this kind of because I would love to make a video looking back on the 5-star predictions that I made. But yeah, this one definitely on the top of my TBR. I still haven't found where I read that it's like Mongol inspired. So I really hope I'm not wrong because I really want it to be Mongol inspired. And I'm just interested to see where it goes. Next up is The Galaxy of the Ground Within, another Becky Chambers. I love Becky Chambers so much. And this is the only other book of hers that I haven't read yet. I want to read the Mobot, oh my god. The Robot and Monk duology. I really want to, I just don't own them, and this whole TBR is based on what I own as of right now, because I never know if I get my hands on the books that I want to read that I don't own yet. So this is the only other book of hers that I own and that I really want to read, and I think maybe, is it the last book in the Wayfarers series? I don't remember. But yeah, I want to continue with that series, obviously, because I really love it. Next up is Fresh Banana Leaves. This is a book about indigenous wisdom and the environment. As you guys know, I'm an environmentalist. I host the Climathon every single year. It's a readathon about the environment and climate change, and I snatched that deal. Actually, during the last Climathon, I saw that the ebook was on sale and I immediately grabbed it. I just didn't get around to read it. And I've heard amazing things, and I'm very excited for this book. And finally, this actually should have been on the top at the first place, is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is another book in the world of The Priory of the Orange Tree, which I read last year. It's not a sequel, but they are set in the same world. And I love The Priory of the Orange Tree. I don't think it's a book without its flaws by any means, but I do think that it's like a really awesome book, and I love to sink my teeth into very thick fantasy books and like just disappear into that world that gives me so much comfort. And this book is actually a book that I do not own yet because it's not out yet, but this book is gonna be the only book I'm going to make an exception for, because I'm not really on a book buying ban, but am on a very, very, very tight budget because every cent that I have and earn is going into our house project. So of course there is no money for buying books at all, and this is gonna be my one exception. This one I'm gonna go on the day that it comes out, or actually a few days later, because I think I'm gonna be here when it comes out, and we don't have a bookshop. Like, we do have a bookshop, but it's a very tiny one that only has Portuguese titles, and if you order a book it takes like months for it to arrive. So, but I'm gonna be in Germany, I think, a few days after it's released, and I'm gonna buy it there. That's a lot faster, and I'm gonna buy it new and probably start reading right away because I'm just so excited. Those were my top 5 of the TBR, and now we go to the honorable mentions that are still kind of the top of my TBR, but not as high up. From Here to Eternity, this is a non-fiction book about death in different cultures. I have this on my 5-star prediction list. I think I will really enjoy this from what I've heard about it, and also from knowing me as a reader and knowing my interests. I think this is gonna be a very strong contender for a 5-star. And again, it was on that prediction video, so I wanna read that. Warbringer by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, here's the thing. I have read stuff by Brandon Sanderson before. I am reading the Starside YA sci-fi series that he's doing, and I'm really enjoying that. And I have read, I think, the Legion books by him, and I think another one, I don't remember. And I've been really enjoying that. However, the thing that is most hyped by Sanderson is Mistborn, and I've read the first book and I didn't really love it. Like, it's alright, but like, I'm not crazy about it. I feel like everybody loves Mistborn so much and thinks it's like the best thing Sanderson has ever written. And I'm just here like, it was okay. But I think Warbringer sounds very promising, and I'm excited to give him and his fantasy books another shot. Another non-fiction book called Big Friendship. In the last couple of years, the topic of friendship and community have become something that I think about a lot and that have changed a lot in my life. And so yeah, I'm just very interested in reading more about this topic and get different perspectives. The Gilded Wolves. This was on my TBR from last year. I didn't get around to read it, but I still want to. It's not like a top high priority, but I would really like to get to it. Another nonfiction. Why has no one told me this before? This is like a mental health kind of book that I've heard fantastic things about, so I definitely want to give it a shot. We Are Displaced by Malala Yousafzai, and I think a bunch of other people. It has a beautiful cover, and I have read the memoir by Malala and I absolutely adored it. It's one of my favorite books of all times, and I think it's like such an important topic. What she's talking about here, about people being displaced, and again, like the topics of home, community and culture are like topics that are like very important to me and have been for a very long time, and just something that I really enjoy gaining more perspective on and like expanding my view again and again and again and again. And yeah, I think I'm gonna love this actually. Then a German self-published book called Zwei Ozeane auf Abwägen. This is by someone who I used to be connected with back when I still did German book content on the internet. And we never met in real life. For a second I thought we met in real life, but I don't think we ever did. So I know the author from that time, and I read the first book in the I don't know if it's a series, trilogy, duology, I don't know. And I read the first book, and while you could tell it was self-published, it was still very enjoyable. I really liked it. And finally she came out with the second book, and I think last year, and I still need to read it, so I'm gonna put that on my TBR. I'm excited for it. Next up is Pachinko. This is like such a well-loved book that I really want to get into. I think I will really love this. I've just been a bit intimidated by it, and I just don't really know, because I'm like a mood reader and I don't really know what mood I need to be in to pick this book up, because it hasn't happened in so long. I've been owning this book for years and it just never happened. So But I really want to read it because I really think I would love it. Then The Way Through the Woods, which is a book that I started during Climathon, and I said that I couldn't continue because the topic of grief was just so heavy. It was like a bit triggering for me, and I just couldn't continue because I just kept on crying. And yeah, this book is currently on pause, and I would love to finish it sometime next year, but I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna only pick this book up when I know my mental health can handle it. So fingers crossed that happens sometime throughout next year. Or next year? Oh my god, I'm still in 2022. Let's hope it's gonna happen sometime this year. And yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I really think I'm gonna love the book because it's like about mushrooms and grief, and it's fascinating. And it's so well loved too, but I just, my mental health couldn't handle the first couple of chapters. So the last book I'm going to talk about today is The Art of Prophecy. This is a book I just recently heard about and then got an ebook deal. I love when that happens. And this is apparently a fantasy book all about like martial arts, which yes, please. It sounds amazing. And I've heard only good things, and the cover is beautiful. And I hope it's not a letdown. I'm a bit afraid that I won't like it. But I'm very excited for this book. I think this might be a book that I might pick up sooner rather than later. So these are my top 5 plus 10 honorable mentions, books that are on the top of my TBR for the coming year. I'm super excited to see how this is gonna look like at the end of the year, and which books I'm gonna pick up that are not on this list and that I'm gonna love. So I'm very excited, and please let me know in the comments down below what book you are most excited for in 2023, and see you soon. Bye!